What is up, guys? It's your friendly neighborhood web war fanatic, and I got a super duper special video for you guys today. It is my 1 year anniversary on YouTube, and in celebration of that, I decided to make a hero tier list ranking all my favorite heroes in Marvel Champions, my favorite game. I also wanted to talk a little bit about where this channel is heading and about memberships, which I just opened. Now, if you don't care about any of that stuff, that's completely okay. I'm gonna put a timestamp so you can jump straight to the hero tier list. So I started playing Marvel Champions in July 2023, so it's been a little bit over a year, and I don't know what it is about Marvel Champions, but I completely fell in love with this game. I would play co-op with my wife, and I would meet with a buddy of mine once per week, and we would play. But that was not enough Marvel Champions for me. I wanted more interactions. I wanted to talk more about the game. So I started recording playthroughs on my phone, and I would post them on YouTube, and I probably had like one subscriber for like 1, 2, 3 months. I didn't know anyone in the community. I was just kind of like this outside person who just really liked this game. It is crazy to me that 1 year later now, we have 1.6 thousand subscribers, which is totally insane. All of you guys that are subscribed to the channel, that watch my videos, that like my videos, that comment all the time. I love the community that we built together. I love interacting with you guys, hearing y'all's thoughts on the new heroes, new villains, going through debates about who's stronger, who's weaker. I love all that stuff, and this has been one of the most rewarding experiences in my entire life. Now, for the direction of the channel, nothing is going to change. I'm not going to put any videos behind like a paywall or anything like that. All my videos will still be free to watch. I want to put out even more videos for you guys. I want to play every single hero against every single villain and have all that for you guys to watch and enjoy. So it is entirely not necessary. You do not have to support this channel through memberships, right? Just liking the videos, just commenting, just watching videos means the world to me. But for you guys who have the means to and who want to support the channel even further, then channel memberships are an option now. And obviously, I would appreciate that so much. And this would really be a way for me to interact more with you guys who want to interact with me more. All right, so here are the tiers, and I'm going to go over them super duper quickly. So the first tier, we have the Web Warrior Fanatic, and I thought that would be a funny name. So here you have a loyalty badge next to your name in the comments and live chat. And then you also have access to member only polls. So basically I'm gonna make polls, talking about future videos, and you guys can vote like what hero that I play and stuff like that. So next we have the Web Warrior Fanatic Super Fanatic. And if you do this tier, then you have access to the custom deck build, where once per month I can build a deck for you. You guys have seen my deck building series, so basically I'll just go through that process and I can build for you a thematic deck against a specific villain, or if you want a really strong deck against, like, I don't know, Venom Goblin or Ronin, or you just want a more universal deck that you can just take around generally and just take on villains with that. Then for the third tier, we have the Web Warrior Fanatic Mega Fanatic, and you'll have a custom gameplay video. So pretty much you can pick a hero and villain for me to play monthly, and I will do that every single month. And then finally, for the fourth tier, we have the Web Warrior Fanatic Hardcore Fanatic. I thought that would be a funny name too if you guys are hardcore fanatics. This one, I can do a gameplay analysis. So pretty much what that would mean is you guys have seen my gameplay analysis videos, where basically you can send me a video of you playing a game of Marvel Champions, and I will just react to that game, give you my criticisms, and tell you what I would do with your hand. And this can be private, or I can post it on my channel as well, whatever you would like. So yeah, these tiers here are basically just ways for me to interact more with you guys, and it's completely not necessary, right? Everything in the channel is going to be the exact same. I still want to keep pumping out the exact same amount of content. I want to do even more content for you guys. But if you guys want to support the channel in this way, I would greatly appreciate it, and it really means a lot. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being with me for a year. I am so excited for this next year to see how this channel will grow, and all the new heroes and villains are going to be added to Marvel Champions. I really appreciate everyone who watches these videos. Alright guys, let's jump into the tier list. So this would be my Marvel Champions tier list for heroes that I like the most. So for the S tier here, this will be reserved for heroes that I think are the best, the cream of the crop. I'm always down to play them, and I always have a lot of fun playing them, and I also think that their kits are super duper fun and creative. And for the A tier here, these would be heroes that I still really like, but they're just a little bit shy of making it in the S tier, and maybe there's like one or two things about their kit that I'm not the biggest fan of. B tier are heroes that I'm pretty indifferent about, right? So I wouldn't mind seeing them on the table. I don't mind playing them because I like this game a lot, but I usually will probably lean towards the A tier or S tier heroes if I'm just picking a hero to play. And then a C tier are heroes that I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily excited to get them on the table. I dread playing them a little bit. I don't mind them too much, but if I had to pick, I would definitely pick a B, A, or S tier. And then D tier is going to be the last tier for me. These are heroes that I never ever want to play. It's just heroes that I'm not excited for at all, and I think that their kits are either clunky or that they're like underwhelming or just I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of the D tier heroes. And I do want to have a disclaimer that this is entirely subjective. This is just my opinion, guys. I'm sure that you guys will have different opinions. I think that's one of the coolest things about Marvel Champions is that everyone has entirely different opinions on the heroes and the villains. So yeah, this is just my perspective, and let's go ahead and get started here. So we're gonna get started with She-Hulk here because she just happens to be first on this list. And She-Hulk, whenever I first played her, she was definitely an A tier hero for me. I enjoyed her a lot. As I played her more and more, I think I'm gonna lean into the B tier here for her. So the way that she works, she has some cool alter ego functions that are really cool because she's a lore in alter ego, and then in hero form she's a She-Hulk. So her kit has a lot of flipping stuff, and I love flipping stuff, but some of it is a little bit clunky and a little bit underwhelming. And then for her, I feel like that her hand size in hero form, it's only 4, so it's not the best. A lot of the strategies that I like to play with She-Hulk, I do feel like that other heroes that have more economy and a bigger hand size may be able to do a little better than her. And so because of that, that's not my favorite thing because I can't really lean into her kit as much. That being said, Split Personality, that's one of the cards in her kit. That's like an S tier level card. I love that card so much, and it's super duper fun for me. But she only has one copy of that card. So although I wouldn't mind playing her, because the more that I played her, I feel like she's a little bit more repetitive in how I build her and stuff. So because of that, I'm going to drop her down to the B tier. But definitely still a very cool hero that I do like a lot. All right, next we have Iron Man here. So Tony Stark, he is easily going to go in the A tier for me. And I think there's definitely a point in time where he was a top 5 hero in the game for me. He's dropped a little bit since then, and I think it's just because, so the way that Iron Man works is that whenever you're playing him, you have to build out Tony Stark's suit to get your hand size up, right? Iron Man has a hand size of 1 in hero form, which is terrible, but he gets +1 hand size for each tech upgrade that you control. So you pretty much want to build out Iron Man's suit and get those tech upgrades out so you can get your hand size up, and then you can take the villain down, and he's really, really strong when he's built out. I love the interactions with him and the villains. I love the way that he plays. It's just that for me, it's a little bit repetitive, similar to She-Hulk, but in a different way, in that every single game that I'm playing with Iron Man, I'm still always just trying to get out his suit, and that is the main priority at the end of the day. I can't really choose if I want to do this instead or this instead. I always have to build out that suit. So that's kind of why Iron Man is just a little bit shy of the S tier for me, but he definitely was there in S tier whenever I first started playing him. But yeah, I think he's dropped off a little bit since then, but still a hero that I really, really enjoy. Next we have Black Panther. Ooh, Black Panther is a hard one. I think I'm going to put him, let's see, whenever I first played him, I actually had him in the C tier because I felt that his, so the way a Black Panther works, my favorite thing about him is that he has pretty good economy, right? So he has the Vibranium, which are double resources, which are really good. He also has the Golden City, where you can draw 2 cards in Alter Ego, which is awesome. But he has these Black Panther upgrades, right? He has like his claws to do damage. He has like his suit, and he has like a tactical genius thing too, right? To remove threat. So, and he has his daggers too, right? So basically the way that Black Panther works is that you get those upgrades out and you play a Wakanda Forever, which is a 1-cost event, which triggers all the specials on those upgrades. I don't necessarily understand how that's like thematic to the character of Black Panther, but I really like the design space in that because it's very unique from a lot of other different heroes. And I like the design a lot for it. I just personally feel like that it's a little bit underwhelming whenever I get him like fully built out, right? So like Iron Man, whenever Iron Man is fully built out, he's super powerful. He feels really good. He feels really smooth whenever he's built out, right? He has his gauntlets, which can do 1 damage for each one. If Iron Man has aerial, which he can gain with the rocket boots, the gauntlets do 2 damage per each one, so that's 4 damage every single turn. His helmet can remove a threat, and he has just so many things that feel really strong whenever he's built out. Black Panther is kind of the opposite, where he's much easier to build out than Iron Man because he has more defensive capabilities and he has a bigger hand size in hero form to start off with. But whenever he is fully built out, he feels a little bit lackluster to me personally. But I do enjoy his kit a lot. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I don't think I like playing him as much as She-Hulk, but I do not mind playing Black Panther at all. And the more that I played him, the more that I've enjoyed playing him more. Unlike She-Hulk and Iron Man, who started much higher and they kind of dropped down a little bit. Black Panther started a little bit lower, and then he came up a little bit. All right, so next we have Hawkeye. Okay, so I should have mentioned this earlier, but I forgot. So uh, I haven't played every single hero in the game yet. I just really wanted to make this, 1 year anniversary video. So Hawkeye is one of the few heroes that I have not played yet. For the heroes that I have not played, I will still be ranking them because I know a lot about how their kits work because I've seen them play either in person or I've watched like gameplay of them online. So I have a general idea of like how every single hero works. But if I'm doing a hero that I have not played, then I'll talk a little bit about that, and then talk about what I think about his kit, and I'll still evaluate them for whenever I do play them, how much I think I will like them, and if I like them more or less than whatever I think I do, then I'll definitely go back here and change those rankings. Okay, so Hawkeye is a hero that I have not played yet, and there's a good reason for that. It's because I played a game with him, a two-player game with one of my friends. Shout out to Keegan, and he was playing Hawkeye because he really likes Hawkeye, and we got entirely like set up there. Like I was playing Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and then we both had like Avengers mansions, heli carriers. We had like the whole thing. Like we had like 10 upgrades, and supports like up on the field, and Hawkeye was so underwhelming when he was built out because like whenever one of us can have a big turn, we will like have the other person draw, right? So then I'll be like Avengers mansioning him, heli carrying him, so you can like, get a bunch of cards. And he got all of the arrow events, but the way the Hawkeye works is that he's limited with his bow because every single time you play an arrow event, it can do like damage or like remove threat or something like that. But you have to exhaust Hawkeye's bow, so you only ready the bow so many times by readying up Hawkeye because you can exhaust Hawkeye to ready up his bow, but there's always going to be that limit of the amount of events that you can play whenever you're fully built out. And when I'm playing like Spider-Man Peter Parker, for example, I can play all 3 swing web kicks in one turn if I have the resources, right? So my friend, he had all the resource generators that he needed. Like Hawkeye has some resource generators on by himself as well, and like Avengers Mansion, like 2 of them because he has one, I have one. Heli cares everything, but he can only play 1 or 2 air events per turn because the villain kept exhausting him, right? We were playing Magneto, and Magneto has a lot of ways to exhaust your hero, so he felt really stifled by that, and I just felt like it was the most underwhelming thing ever. Keegan did not enjoy playing it either, and he was like, man, I really like Hawkeye, but I don't know what's happening here. And yeah, and I've seen some gameplay of him. He's just not my favorite character, and I am dreading to play him, so I'm going to put him in the D tier here, and I mean, eventually I will have to play him. Hopefully that day never comes because I am not a fan. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of Hawkeye here. And I actually watched the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus, and I actually really like that series a lot. But in Marvel Champions, man, yeah, because of that bow needing to exhaust, I'm just not the biggest fan of this character. So he goes into D tier. All right, next we have Rocket Raccoon. Ooh, Rocket Raccoon, he goes into B tier for me. I'm gonna put him behind Black Panther. I think he's a really cool hero. And if you guys know me, you guys know that I love the Genius trait. That's probably one of my favorite traits in Marvel Champions, probably after like Web Boy or something like that. But with Genius, you can recur Moon Girl and use Suit Up to get Moon Girl over and over again. So I have a Rocket deck that revolves around that. The way that Rocket works is that he has a bunch of his tech upgrades here. So he has like his pistols and stuff like that. And then you can exhaust them to do damage to a villain or something like that. And then basically whenever you're in Alter Ego form, my favorite thing about Rocket is his Tinker ability, where you can discard those tech upgrades and then draw 2 cards. So that's awesome because then you get your economy really high up. So Rocket's really fun to play. I just find him a little bit squishy, and I kind of want a little bit more versatility in my hero. So Rocket, I mean, he has a lot of sources of damage with all of his tech upgrades, but he doesn't have that much big burst damage. So it feels nice to have like those many sources to like do damage, to knock off toughs, to like defeat minions. But I really want that big bang of damage there, and that's why I personally play Rocket with the Blaze of Glory, and I enjoy that build a lot. But yeah, he is. I think he's just a little bit lackluster, and I feel like when I'm playing him, I really have to be in the mood to really try to I guess like babysit him almost. So like I have to play very, very careful because if the villain gets like 2 activations and I don't have allies, then like Rocket's gonna die because he just doesn't have a lot of life. He has low defense, right? So I think he is a fun hero to play that I don't mind playing at all, but definitely not my favorite. So he's just gonna go here in the B tier. All right, next we have Captain Marvel. Oh man, I like Captain Marvel a lot. I'm gonna put her in the A tier, just behind Iron Man. So Captain Marvel, I mean, she is so fun because her economy is one of the best in the game, if not the best. And if she doesn't have the best economy in the game, she definitely has the best draw power in the game. I mean, so her alter ego ability is just choose a player, draw a card, amazing. You have like an Avengers Mansion built into Captain Marvel. Her hero ability gives her a way to draw a card as well if you can spend an energy resource and heal damage from her. So yeah, Captain Marvel, she's super fun. She's drawing tons of cards. She has a triple resource, and if you guys know me, I love high economy heroes. I'm gonna love triple resources. She is very fun to play. She's super duper powerful in her kit and everything. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely, one of my favorite heroes. I don't have too much bad things to say about her. Okay, so next we have Spider-Man Peter Parker, and you guys know me, I'm the web war fanatic. Spider-Man Peter Parker is my favorite here in the game. He goes up in the S tier here. The thing that I like the most about his kit, it's just so simple, right? He doesn't have any really like complex cards. It's like, swing web kick, just 3 cost, 8 damage to enemy. Spire Tracer, attached to a minion. If you defeat the minion, you can remove 3 threat. Backflip, avoid all the damage from enemy attack, right? Just super duper simple cards. Aunt May, it's just a 1 cost support, heal 4 damage from Peter Parker. Super duper simple, super duper thematic. But the way that you build him with his aspect cards, it can really give him color, right? You can form more complex strategies through the aspect cards and give him interesting decision-making opportunities through that. And that's what makes it so fun playing Peter Parker. Comparing to Captain Marvel, for example, if you don't play her with any aspect cards, like just like a blank card deck or something like that, I think she's still very powerful. She's much more powerful than Spider-Man in that case. But Spider-Man really draws his true strength when you unlock it through the aspect cards. So a hero like that is much more to my taste than Captain Marvel. Even though, like I said before, I love Captain Marvel. She's lots of fun. But yeah, Spider-Man is like, he's just everything of what I think Marvel Champion should be. He's like the perfect hero in my opinion. All right, next we have Captain America. All right, this is going to be a little bit of a hot take here. So Captain America, he is not my favorite hero to play. I'm going to put him here in the B tier. And I know, man, a lot of you guys are huge Captain America fans. A lot of you guys are watching this channel. I apologize to you guys. We talked about Captain America a lot too. I like him. I like him a lot. Maybe it's because I played him so late compared to a lot of the other heroes. His kit feels like a little bit bland to me. He feels similar to like Captain Marvel and Spider-Man in that he's like a great all-rounder, just like these two guys. But then his kit feels a little bit more boring, and it just doesn't feel like he packs that much to his punch, right? Like his strongest attack event, it's the Heroic Strike, where it's a 3 cost event, do 6 damage to enemy, and then it stuns them. Obviously, the stun is super duper nice, but usually that big attack event, I want for the big like kill shot. And I mean, I've often played 3 swing web kicks in 1 turn with Peter Parker Spider-Man, and in multiplayer games, I played 4 swing web kicks in a game, which is super duper fun. I don't think that Captain America can garner the economy to do that huge burst. And even if he does, if Captain America plays, let's say, 4 heroic strikes in 1 turn, that's 24 damage. I mean, that's equivalent of 3 swing web kicks, right? So it's just, I don't know, it just feels like he's really strong, he's really powerful, and he is fun, right? B tier doesn't mean not fun, because I love this game, Marvel Champions. So I mean, every hero in the B tier I enjoy playing. He's just a little bit under of like an A tier or S tier to me, just because he doesn't have as much of an oomph to his like final built out state. But I mean, he starts out super powerful, just a little bit bland than what I would like. But I think I fuse the magic to Captain America, because he can literally do this all day, and he's just like the best well-rounded character, right? So I do like him a lot, just not as much as any of these guys here. And I think Rocket has a lot more nuances, even though I feel like I have to like baby him a little bit. Captain America, I don't have to baby at all, right? He can carry his own load, but I want to, add my own flair to a character, I guess is a better way to say it. And Captain America doesn't really allow me to add my own spin to him. All right, next we have Miss Marvel. And I've actually never played Miss Marvel. I need to play her. I've had her for a really long time. Okay, so I'm gonna put her in the B tier, and I'm gonna put her last in the B tier. I know that there's a lot of Miss Marvel fans here, and Miss Marvel to me, from what I've seen with her kit, she's very event based, because you can get the events back with her abilities and then play them again. And then she's very alter ego based as well, right? She has a lot of alter ego actions, and you can flip down a lot with her. So I really like the alter ego aspect of her. I think that's really fun. If it was just that, I would probably put her, in the A tier, prospectively. But because of the fact that she's very event heavy, you guys know me. Most decks that I build, I usually don't put any events into those decks. I'm not a big event guy. I love upgrade supports allies. So because of that reliance on events, I mean, I don't think I would like her as much. I probably put, D or C tier. But because of the alter ego stuff, which you guys know that I love, I'm gonna just round out and put in a B tier. I think that I would probably like her around this B tier spot here. But if I actually play her, or when I actually play her, because I will definitely change this if I like her more or less. All right, next we have Thor. Oh man, Thor. Okay, so one thing I do want to say is that a lot of these heroes here, if I like their character a lot, like their Marvel character, I'm probably going to be a little bit more biased to them, how much I like them in Marvel Champions. And I think that's, it's pretty normal. Like, we're playing a card game, and everything I'm saying here is with my bias. So, Spider-Man Peter Parker is my favorite, Marvel character all time. So, of course, he goes in S tier, but I really just like his design in Marvel Champions as well. I want to say that I'm not biased, but I know I probably am with how I rank Spider-Man. But for Thor here, Thor is also another hero that I really, really like. And I think that his kit is super duper thematic, right? He has Mjolnir, his hammer throw. You have to throw Mjolnir, so you have to return it back to your hand because it comes back to your hand, which is super duper fun. But Thor goes in a C tier here for me. I do dread playing him a little bit. If I'm just like looking at all the heroes I can play, like Captain America, Rocket, like I have no problem picking like up a Captain America or Rocket Raccoon. I'll be like, it's gonna be a good day. But if I have to pick up Thor, I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm a little bit like, oh man, I gotta really figure something out. I hope that I can have fun today. Just because Thor is he's a little bit clunky. He has a hand size of 4 in his hero form and a hand size of 5 in his alter ego, and that's a little bit low, a little bit on the lower side. So you just feel like there's less possibilities for actions that Thor can do on a turn per turn basis. He has really high hit points though, so it's really tanky, and he has a lot of minion stuff, right? So one thing that would make Thor a lot more fun for me, and I've talked about this idea before, but you know how we have player side schemes in Marvel Champions. I really want player minions so that Thor can put out his own minions, because a lot of his cards synergize with having minions in play. And if you're playing against a villain that has very few minions or only really strong minions, Thor will feel a little bit lackluster. So that's what I will. If they introduce something like player minions in Marvel Champions, that would shoot Thor up to maybe like A tier or even S tier for me, because I would love playing around that. If you guys know me, I love playing around side schemes a lot. Like, so giving me that archetype for minions where I can play my own minions just like how I can play my own side schemes would not only make Thor so much more consistent, but a lot more fun for me. But the way that he is right now, he goes in a C tier. Not my favorite hero, unfortunately, even though I really, really like Thor. All right, next we have Black Widow. Ooh, Black Widow is going to be a hard one. I'm not the biggest fan of her in this game either. Put her also in the C tier, but above Thor. So she does have the hand size of 6 and the hand size of 5 in alter ego, which is the standard hand size. So her economy is not bad, right? I don't mind that at all. But the way that she plays is a little bit. So you guys know me, I play really slow. I like to build out my board and control everything. And Black Widow, she's kind of the epitome of that. So I thought I would really enjoy playing her because she's all about getting her preparation cards out and preparing for the villain's turn. But I find that her preparation cards are a little bit too specific for what I need, right? I want to build out my board kind of more generally so that I can counter anything. And Black Widow has very specific triggers for all those preparations, and only whenever that triggers can she trigger those preparations. And I feel like that it's a little bit more slow than I would like, because I'm already playing slow. So when I play Black Widow, I have to add even more slowness to that to keep her protected and to get those all of those preparation cards out. So she's not my favorite character to play just because she's a little bit too slow, and I do dread playing her a little bit because I feel like, oh man, it's gonna be a really long game. I gotta do all these things. All right, next we have Doctor Strange. Oh man, okay, so Doctor Strange, this is gonna be a controversial one. He goes into B tier for me. I don't hate him at all, and I definitely and I actually enjoy playing him a lot. I like him more than Captain America for sure. Do I like him more than Rocket? No, I do like Rocket more. So Doctor Strange, I think he's actually a really fun hero. And it feels really cool whenever you can use the Winds of Watun 3 times, because he has the Master of the Mystic Arts, which can have you trigger that top card of the Invocation deck. So if it's Winds of Watun, you can trigger it, draw 3 cards, and it stays on top. So you play another Master of the Mystic Arts, trigger the Winds again, and then you can activate the Winds one more time with your Spell Master. So you're drawing 9 cards that one turn, which feels amazing. That's like one of the best feelings in the game, just having that huge hand. But yeah, a lot of people say Doctor Strange is too powerful, so he's not fun to play just because he makes the game boring. You guys know that I completely disagree with that. I don't think that he is, the strongest here in the game. I don't think that he trivializes any scenarios or the game. I think that he's a very solid and fun hero to play, and he's a lot of different things. The reason why he's not any higher for me is because I don't like how the invocation deck is a little bit luck based, right? So whenever I'm playing Marvel Champs and I'm ready to like, go for my final kill, I can tutor specific cards to my hand or hold cards in my hand that I want to play for next turn. But the invocation deck is almost always going to be random unless you have like one card left, and in the invocation deck, so you know exactly what it is because all the ones have been spent. But other than that, it's a little bit of randomness, and I don't like trying to cycle through that deck to find the specific card that I want. I just want to play whatever I want to play whenever I have it, or I want to be able to save it for next turn, right? So that's my only thing with Doctor Strange, but he is super duper fun because I like all the stuff that he can do. I do like playing invocations, and my favorite way to play him is in the pool aspect. So with mulligans, whenever you use his spell mastery, which is his hero ability, you can trigger his invocation cards, right? But you're technically not playing a card, you're only triggering a special on the invocation through Doctor Strange's hero ability spell mastery. So if you play the pool aspect card mulligan, since you have not played a card this turn, you can still discard hand and draw back up to your full hand size. So that means that if you spend resources to trigger his ability here, to trigger the invocations, you can now draw back up to your full hand size of 5 or 6, depending on if you have the Sorcerer Supreme in play or not. And that is just tons of fun to me. He has a lot of extra resource that you can throw away if you're not doing stuff with the invocation deck. So I like the pool aspect, giving him that resource sink as well. So I do enjoy playing him a lot. He's definitely a hero that I like getting on the table. Not anything that. But not anything that I like super duper love, like Iron Man, Captain Marvel, or Spider-Man. So Hulk here, Hulk goes in a B tier for me. He's actually going to go first here in the B tier. I know a lot of people hate playing Hulk. A lot of people would have him, definitely in D tier. I don't think he's B tier level in terms of like his power ranking or anything like that. But I do enjoy playing Hulk, and I gotta admit this right now. It is super duper heavy bias that I like playing Hulk in Marvel Champions because I like Hulk as a character and I think he's really cool. I think a lot of us, are Hulk fans, and a lot of people complain that maybe Fantasy Flight Games didn't do Hulk justice. I think that he's fine the way that he is, but if he was a different hero that I liked a little bit less, then I may put Hulk in a D tier. So there's some heavy bias here. But the way that I play Hulk, I love that he has, I can't put him here. I love that he has the Genius trait in his alter ego as Bruce Banner, which makes sense. So that allows me to play my Moon Girl recursion strategy and have a deck called Suit Down where I'm recurring Moon Girl over and over again. And then playing Moon Girl is so big because you get this strong ally that can throw for 2 or attack for 2 and then also draw you 3 cards if you use those 3 mental resources to pay for her, which has so much synergy with Hulk because his Banner's Laboratory generates a mental resource while he's in alter ego. So I love building through that Bruce Banner type of thing, and then making Hulk really, really strong and getting his board set up, and then just Hulk smashing through the villain, right? If you don't play him that way, the way that Hulk, normally wants to play is just by playing Hulk smash and doing a lot of damage, but then he can't really do anything else, and he has very low economy because he has a hand size of 5 in alter ego and a hand size of 4 in hero form, so it's just a little bit lackluster. But yeah, I enjoyed that build of Hulk. If I didn't have that build, or if I never played him that way, he would probably be in the C tier here for me. But because of that build, and I enjoy playing that build a lot, Hulk goes into B tier, and he's really just being carried by his name and his character. Even though these are just kind of cards, I do really feel like I'm like the character whenever I'm playing them. So when I see Hulk on the table, it's always a pleasure to see, and I have a lot more fun playing Hulk than not. So he definitely goes into B tier here for me. Basically just the bias bringing him up, and then the actual like practicality of his hero kit bring him down a little bit. So I'm averaging him out here, but I do like him a lot. All right, next we have a Spider-Woman. Okay, Spider-Woman, man, Spider-Woman is a pretty beloved hero. I dread playing her a little bit though. I'm gonna put her first in the C tier. So the way that Spider-Man's kit works is that she revolves around of aspect cards, right? You want to play aspect cards to trigger her superhuman agility, which she gets +1 to all of her stats, right? So Thor, attack, and defense per each aspect card that you play per turn of a single aspect, right? So if you play an aggression card, then she'll get +1. If you play a leadership card, she gets another +1. So she'll be like +2 to everything, right? She has cards from all 4 aspects in her hero kit, right? So you can get up to like a +4 if you're playing the pool aspect, then you get a +5 to her stats, which can be fun, but for me it's just a little bit lackluster. It just feels a little bit clunky whenever I'm playing her. I prefer to lean more into Web War stuff because she is a spider. She does not have the Web War trait, but unlike Spider-Man, she does not really build well off the web warrior trait, even if you make her web warrior, because all the strongest web warriors currently in the game are all basic allies, and she needs those aspect cards to really get her going. And she has stuff like finesse, which is a resource generator, but only for aspect cards, right? So you really have to lean into aspect cards when you're playing her, and there's just not much more freedom to do other things. But it's really cool because you can include two different aspects whenever you're building her deck. It's just that I wanted to do some basic cards too, and a lot of her stuff has anti-synergy with basic cards. So because of that, I'm just not the biggest fan of her. So she goes in the C tier here for me. Okay, next we have Ant-Man and Wasp. So these are actually two other heroes that I have not played yet. But Ant-Man, okay, let's just take a look at Ant-Man first. Ant-Man looks super duper fun. Ant-Man's gonna go here in the A tier for me. And once again, I have not played him, but I think I would really enjoy playing him. I like his flipping thing. I like how he can flip to he has three different forms to flip to, right? His giant form, his tiny form, and his alter ego. That's really fun and thematic in my opinion, and I love how his card like will open up. So I actually don't own Ant-Man yet, and that's probably the reason that I haven't played him. But yeah, I mean, he looks really, really cool. I need to get the Ant-Man hero pack really soon, but I love how each time you change forms, you can get a different trigger off, and there's a lot of synergies with a lot of aspect cards of changing form. So I think that's a lot of fun to play, and I think that he's going to be a really cool hero. Wasp, I'm going to put Wasp above Ant-Man here, just slightly above. I think that their kits are similar but also not similar. So they are similar in the way that they have three forms each, but Wasp I think has a little bit more nuance than Ant-Man, in that the way that you play Wasp is that she does more damage, single target damage in her tiny form, which I think is really cool, right? Because in her giant form, she does like indirect damage, or not indirect damage, she does like because she's so big, if she's like punching you, it does damage to like multiple minions or the villain, right? But then when she's in tiny form, she has more condensed, like strong, like piercing damage. I think that's really cool. I really like that part of her kit, and she's a genius. You guys know, any genius character, I'm gonna evaluate a little bit higher, right? So her being a genius, I think it's really, really cool. She can recur a Moon Girl in her alter ego form with Suit Up. And I think that's a lot of fun too. So I do like Wasp more than Ant-Man just because she has a genius trait. And I forgot to mention earlier, I mean, Tony Stark, Iron Man, he's a genius. You guys all know that. So of course, that's a little bit more why I like him a lot, because he has that genius trait and can play Moon Girl. All right, so next we have Quicksilver here. Oh man, Quicksilver is gonna be a hard one. So when I first played him, I actually enjoyed him a lot. I really liked the character, but the more that I've thought about it, I'm gonna put him a little bit lower here. I'm gonna put him in the C tier. I kind of dread playing him. I would rather play him more than Black Widow though, but he's not a hero that I'm like itching to get out. And it's the same thing with Black Widow. They're very similar to me in that they're both just so slow. So Quicksilver, I have a Quicksilver deck called Slow Silver, because even though he's supposed to be so quick and he can ready up a lot, I feel like he's one of the slowest heroes in the game to really ramp up and get going. So because of that, I put him, I think it's very similar to Black Widow in that they're both slow, but I'm going to put him here right above her. But he's definitely not here that I want to play that often. The way his kit works, he can ready up a lot, but to get all those readies, you need more economy, you need more resources and more resource generators. So in order for that to happen, you need to take more time to set up that board and to increase his stats, right? Here's a 1-1-1 stat line. You can get it to a 2-2-2 with just his identity-specific cards, but then you got to play those upgrades, and it just all takes too much time, and it feels like it's counteractive to him being Quicksilver because he's actually so slow. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on him. All right, next we have Scarlet Witch here. Scarlet Witch, I know, is a lot of people's favorite hero, and I know that she's generally very well received by the community. For me personally, she is not my favorite to play because I don't like milling the encounter deck. That's just my thing. It feels very risky to me. I'm gonna put her in the B tier. I don't mind playing her because she is still fun and is powerful, but I like Captain America more, who's just more reliable and consistent. Scarlet Witch, I think that her peak is crazy high, right? But the way that a lot of her cards work is that, I mean, she's chaotic. That's kind of her character. So a lot of her events and her cards revolve around discarding cards from the encounter deck. And based on amount of boost icons on those cards, she'll have different effects or more effects, right? So if you get unlucky and you're just discarding like, bad boost for whatever you need, so then she might not get anything off. Obviously, there is a lot of fun in that luck aspect to the game of like, what am I going to do? I'm going to discard cards in the encounter deck, and if it's good, I get a good effect off. But there's always the bad thing of milling the encounter deck, because as you're milling the encounter deck, The villain gets closer to decking out. When they deck out, they get a permanent acceleration token on the main scheme, which is never good. So she just feels like a ticking time bomb, which I think I respect a lot of people that enjoy that type of play. That's not my favorite way to play, so because of that, I am going to put her here in the B tier. All right, next we have Groot. Oh man, Groot is a hard one too. So Groot, just like Iron Man, used to be one of my top 5 favorite heroes in the entire game. And I still like him a lot, but he's dropped down a lot for me just because I feel like I have to play him in Justice. I feel like he's most fun in that aspect. I for sure like him more than like Doctor Strange and Captain America. So he's going to go somewhere around here in the B tier. And I'm going to try to evaluate this with Rocket. I think I like him more than Rocket. I like him more than Black Panther. Um, I think he goes here in the B tier. I like Hulk more, but then Groot comes up second here. So I think Groot is still fun to play. Like, don't get me wrong. Like B tier, B tier means it's a fun hero for me to play, and I don't mind seeing him on the table. But it's kind of like Rocket Raccoon, where I feel like I kind of have to be in the mood to play Groot. If I'm not in the mood for it, it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to play him. But I think that every time I play him, I've had fun. Like, I'm never gonna have a bad time playing Groot. He needs a little bit to get set up, but he has that survivability and tankiness to where he can reliably get set up every single game. So I like that a lot about him, and I like his character a lot too. So I could have a little bit of bias there. His Groot counters. So the way that his Groot counters work is that for each Groot counter on Groot, whenever you would take any amount of damage, he has an interrupt where you remove the Groot counters instead, right? So he's growing big and you're building the Groot counters, and as he takes damage, he shrinks back down and gets smaller and becomes, baby Groot. I think that's very cool and thematic. The only thing that I wish was that the interrupt was not a forced interrupt, because a lot of Groot's cards in his hero kit revolve around his growth counters. So if you have no growth counters, you might not be able to get many effects off. And because they're always leaving play as you take damage, you have to prevent Groot from taking damage. But it seems like he wants to take damage because he has, the 3 defense and high survivability. So I wish that it wasn't a forced interrupt, so that if he takes damage, you can still keep the growth counters on him. But it is a forced interrupt, so we must trigger every single time he takes damage. You have to lose the growth counters, which means that the decision-making opportunities are a little bit less versatile and creative, because you can't like make plays thinking like, I am going to keep these counters. You have to just know that you're going to lose them. So that's kind of why he's in a B tier for me. But when I first started playing him, I liked him a lot. He's just dropped a little bit since then. All right, next we have Star-Lord. Man, Star-Lord, he's another hero that used to be one of my favorite heroes in the game, but he's also dropped off a little bit for me. I think I still like him. He's for sure still above Strange here, so somewhere here in the B tier. And I think I'm going to put him behind Rocket. I like Star-Lord a lot. He's really fun to play. The only thing with him is that he's high risk, high reward, right? And the way that I play with a lot of these heroes is that I want to have consistency and build up my board a little bit. So I find that Star-Lord is a little bit slow in building out his board. And he has a little bit, he's lacking in survivability a little bit while you're getting him set up. But once you do get him set up, that huge final like big burst damage is crazy fun, and that's one of the best feelings ever. So yeah, I mean, he definitely has that payout, but because of that slow build into it, I just feel like he kind of almost plays the same, at least the way that I'm playing him. And I'm sure that there's different, more fun ways to play him, but where I'm just slowly building out his board and I go for like a huge, gun in there. I feel like that he's still really fun. I still like getting him to the table. He's just not an A tier or S tier hero for me just because of that. All right, next we have Gamora, and Gamora is actually a hero that I have not played yet. I'm gonna put her, man, she goes low C or even in the D tier for me. I'm not sure. I know that a lot of people love Gamora. I am pretty dreading playing her, and that's kind of why I haven't played her yet. Yeah, so Gamora is kind of known as being like the event heavy hero. She's like the event hero. So I'm sure that she is very fun if you're leaning into the events a lot. But you guys know I do not like playing events as much as playing like upgrade supports and allies. So because of that, I find that a lot of her kit's going to give me anti-synergy. Her hero ability, you can trigger different things if you play Thor and attack events. So it's really revolving around those events, right? So I'm just not the biggest fan of that. So because of that, I am not looking forward to playing her. And I am definitely dreading playing her, which is why I put her off for so long. All right, next we have a Drax here. Drax is another tough one. He is definitely, he's also a hero that I have not played before, but I'm also really dreading playing Drax as well. So I think he's going to go I'm gonna put him here in the C tier. He may be more fun for me. So the one that, so Drax has a hand of 4 in his hero form, but he has a hand of 6 in his alter ego. So one thing that I'm looking at when I'm looking at Drax is like, can I build him in Justice and try to do some sort of flipping strategy with him to take advantage of his hand size of 6? If I can't and have to play like the regular protection route, which is what a lot of people enjoy playing Drax as in protection, because you can get a bunch of readies, you can have him attack, and he can hit really hard with his vengeance counts, right? I think that can be a lot of fun. It just feels too narrow for me, right? I want to have more flexibility and versatility whenever I'm playing a hero. So because of that, I'm not the biggest fan of the way that he would play or of the way that his kit looks. But if I'm able to do some sort of justice build with him where I can flip a lot, I think that that would be a lot of fun. I'll probably put him up in the B tier or maybe even A tier. But as the way that he is now, I think that I would need to play him in protection for him to be any good. So because of that, I'm gonna put him in a C tier. But yeah, he's not my favorite hero. All right, next we have Venom, and actually this is another hero that I have not played yet. And man, okay, Venom is gonna be another kind of hot take for me. I'm gonna put him. I think I'm gonna put him in the B tier, and I'll put him. I think I'm gonna put him behind Miss Marvel. Okay, so I know Venom is so many people's favorite hero in Marvel Shamans. I know that people love Venom. My only thing with his kit is that he has a couple different things going on. So he has a lot of weapon upgrades. So he has like his guns and he has his multi-rifle. And then he also has a lot of stun and confuse heavy type of stuff, right? I think that he's really good against a non-steady star villain because you can easily stun lock or confuse lock a villain, which I think is very, very powerful. But all of his events, because they have like that stun like inclusion in them or that confused inclusion, I feel like they're a little bit lackluster and lack that like big oomph, right? So similar to Captain America, where I feel like he's good per turn, he's not as satisfying to build out and have like a huge big burst turn, right? I think that Venom can easily build out his board like very strongly and control everything, and then he can like do a lot of damage, per turn and easily defeat villains. But I just feel like he won't have that big like 30 damage turn, even with the running guns because of his economy. And I do think he has a good economy, just not like to level to be able to play his events enough to where they do enough damage because the numbers on his events aren't as high in terms of pure damage because they include like stun and stuff like that, right? They have like multiple effects, which means that the pure number is a little bit lower. And like for example, being able to do 8 damage with one single event like Spider-Man's swing web kick. So yeah, Venom's gonna go here for me. I don't know. Maybe when I play him, I'll enjoy playing him a lot more. And I don't like that his setup. You have to mill from your deck until you get one of his weapons there. I'm very scared about milling like when a game begins to lose like a bunch of good cards or something like that. So and I've watched gameplay of him where people like mill like more than half of their deck and they're like, oh man, I'm almost out of cards now. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks. That's not something that I'm looking forward to. So yeah, Venom is not a hero that I'm particularly looking forward to, but I think that I wouldn't mind him whenever I actually play him. All right, next we have Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock I like a lot. He goes in A tier. I think he's a really cool hero. He's gonna go for sure above Captain Marvel. Is he more fun than Iron Man to me? No, I think Iron Man. Iron Man just feels so simple. The way that you just have to build a suit, I really like that simplicity to it. And I like how he's so weak whenever the game starts. It's always a fun puzzle to try to figure out Iron Man. Adam Warlock, he's so much fun. I like playing with a bunch of allies, and I like playing in the pool aspect for the resource sinks. So even though the pool aspect doesn't have synergy with his effect here, the battle mage, because you can still discard a pool aspect card from your hand, but you won't get any effect from it, right? So it will still count as triggering the battle mage. You just don't get one of the effects of the battle mage. But yeah, Adam Warlock, tons of fun. I really enjoy playing him. I think that he has so much in-game versatility. He's like the number one hero for that because you have your card that can, I think it's called Quantum Magic, that can look through your discard pile for any card and just put it back to your hand, which is so crazy. That allows for so many unique decision-making opportunities, and there's always so many different ways to go about whenever I'm playing Adam Warlock. I just love that. There's no like one correct answer to anything. You can figure out a solution for a problem in multiple different ways whenever you're playing Adam Warlock, and I think that's why I like him a lot. So he's definitely one of my favorite heroes in the game. Next we have Spectrum, who's another hero from the Mad Titan Shadow, along with Adam Warlock. Spectrum is not gonna be in an A tier for me. I don't mind playing her. She goes in a B tier, and I'll put her here above Miss Marvel. I definitely don't mind Spectrum at all. I think that she is a fun hero to play. It's just similar to Captain America, I guess, to where I feel like her kit is, I don't know, it's just kind of, there's nothing, there's no real oomph to it, right? Like it feels fun getting out all of her stuff to generate resources, her resource generators. It's fun, switching forms with her, and playing like the speed of light. But I find her kit is just kind of, it's just kind of bland. It doesn't really add anything super unique. There are very unique aspects to it. It just feels like the actual playing of it feels very simple, I guess. And I like more creativity whenever I'm playing a character, in game at least. Okay, Nebula. Nebula I like too, but I don't like her enough to put in the A tier. I think Nebula, I have a pretty good impression of Nebula. I haven't played her too much though, so I can't really say if that would change. But I think as of now, I like her more in Doctor Strange. I do feel that you really have to lean into the alter ego with her, and that's kind of what I really like about her because I like playing the alter ego a lot. Yeah, she has her combat protocol, so similar to Groot. It's a force response. So at the end of, I think it's, let me see, what is it? Is it the end? I know, when your turn begins, you have to resolve the special of each technique upgrade you control, and you have to discard all your technique upgrades, which kind of suck if you want that static effect of like, giving her retaliate or giving her extra booster stats or anything like that. So the way to mitigate that is to flip down to alter ego, because when you're in alter ego, you don't have that force response combat protocols, and you don't have to trigger it. So that's a really fun puzzle to play with her. The only thing with her is that I do feel like that she also kind of lacks that oomph to her punch for like a big final like burst turn like Captain America. But I enjoy the puzzle of her a lot more, right? It's kind of like Iron Man, where his puzzling part, the early game is so fun, figuring out how to maneuver around him. And Nebula, I also like that as well. I just don't think that she has that payout of an Iron Man. Iron Man has one of the biggest payouts in the game, where he's so clunky and slow early game, but then late game, I mean, he feels amazing. He can build up to a hand size of 7 in hero form if you have 6 tech upgrades out, because that's like the limit for him. So 7 hand size in hero form, that is insane. I mean, he feels amazing late game. It's just that early game puzzle, but the early game puzzle to me is really, really fun. And for Nebula, she has that funness for the early game puzzle, but doesn't have that payout for the late game. All right, next we have a War Machine here. War Machine is another hero that I have not played, and he has some cool alter ego shenanigans, but I'm not the fan of the way that his ammo counters work, because when you flip down, you have to lose all your ammo counters. And then there's ways to get ammo counters in alter ego with his like supports, but then when you flip over to hero form, you can gain some ammo counters as well, right? My only thing with him is that, similar to Hawkeye, a lot of his stuff revolves around, like a lot of his events revolves around removing ammo counters. So that's kind of your cap on him, is that if you do, even if you have a bunch of resource generation, if you don't have enough ammo counters on War Machine, then you can't really do too much about him. So he's another hero that I don't own his hero pack yet, and I am kind of dreading playing him, not as much as like Gamora or Hawkeye, but I don't think I'm gonna be the biggest fan of him. I think I like him more than Thor though, because of his alter ego stuff. Probably around here. I mean, he could be. I'm gonna put him first in the C tier. I think he could be a lot of fun with his alter ego stuff. I'm just not sure how he'll play. He's a tough one for me to really know without playing him. Like the other ones, I feel like I have a more understanding of their kit, but I feel like War Machine, I really have to play out and see how his interactions work to really give him a fair evaluation. So this is definitely not fair, but I might put him up or lower depending on how I feel after I play him. All right, next we have Valkyrie. All right, so Valkyrie, I do enjoy playing against minions. I think that whenever she's slaying minions, she is a lot of fun. And in my opinion, she is the best minion slayer in the game. And it's always fun doing a lot of damage and getting her a bunch of readies. So she's going to go in the B tier for me. She's not an A tier hero, similar to Thor, because of that reliance on minions. If they introduced, player minions to the game, that would make Valkyrie like heaps higher in my opinion. I would put her probably in the A tier if they did that. So, or even the S tier. Yeah, I said it with Thor too, but game player minions would change Valkyrie's entire kit, because a lot of her stuff revolves around minions, right? You need minions out to have her trigger her Thor upgrade. You need minions out for her to get a lot of her effects off. Death Glow is best on a minion instead of the villain, right? She just revolves her kit around slaying minions. So she goes in the B tier. I like her more than Strange. I think I like her more than Nebula. No, I like Nebula more. So I think this is where Valkyrie's going to go for me. She is a lot of fun, but she's only fun whenever you're able to get her going and have her running smoothly with those minion stuff. if you're not facing a minion heavy scenario, she is definitely a lot less fun, and she can feel very, very yeah, tough. I think if I'm playing like Thanos against her, I'll probably put her like in the D tier. But I do not want to do a Valkyrie Thanos matchup. That sounds not the funnest thing in the world. But I think that overall she's gonna go here in the B tier for me. I do enjoy playing her. Next we have Vision. Okay, Vision is another hero that I have not played before, and I am kind of dreading playing him. Just because I'm not the biggest fan of him as a character, but looking at his kit realistically, I think he'll probably go here in the B tier for me. I think he has some solid things going on with his kit. Um, you have like your alter ego stuff with the Hickory Lane. You can recur Vivian, who's a really powerful ally for Vision. You have a lot of Android synergies. So and then he has two different forms. Right? He has his phase form and solid form. I'm not the biggest fan of having like the extra card to give you multiple forms, similar to a Spectrum. That's not my favorite like way to play Marvel Champions, but I think that could be fun with Vision. So I'm gonna put him here in the B tier. Okay, next we have Ghost Spider. Okay, this is my wife's favorite hero, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to apologize to her. She is not my favorite. I'm gonna put her in the C tier. And there was a point in Marvel Champions before I played like so many heroes, right? I think I played the majority of heroes at this point, maybe like 90%. Um, Ghost Spider is so she is the third hero that I played. I think I played Peter Parker first, and then I played Miles, and then yeah, Ghost Spider is the third hero that I played. And for a really long time, for at least like 1, 2, 3 months, these are the only three heroes that I've ever played in Marvel Champions because they're all spiders, right? So Ghost Spider, she is really fun if you can get her going, but I dread playing her because I dread getting exhausted with her. I just feel like if she gets exhausted, she's stifled. The way she works is that she has her dizzying reflexes hero ability, which every single time you trigger like a response or interrupt on a event, then you can ready Ghost Spider again, right? So you can get her a bunch of readies by triggering those events, and then she can attack or thwart or like defend again, which is really fun, right? It's a fun mechanic, but I feel that it's easily stifled, right? Just if the villain just does something that forces you to flip down to alter ego, then she's kind of like not fun to play anymore. If the villain does something that makes her perpetually be exhausted, that's also really rough on her. It's just there's so many ways to counter her, and because of that, she's just yeah. I'm just scared playing her because I'm like if I get countered and I get exhausted or something like that, I know it's not gonna be a fun day. So I like the character a lot. Like as a character, I mean, you guys know I love spiders. She's an S tier character for me. I love Gwen Stacy. But yeah, I mean, she goes in C tier for me just in Marvel Champions, just her hero kit because of that reliance on the readies and the reliance on her basic activations because a lot of her events are responses that you only play after she makes a basic activation like attack, thwart, or defend. So if she's not able to attack, thwart, and defend with her hero card, then you can't play those stuff and it's just all stuck in your hand. So she's not a fair hero to play, unfortunately. All right, next we have Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay, Miles, I mean, used to be, a top 2 hero because he was one of the only 3 heroes I played in the game. But I think overall, I'm going to put him in the B tier. And he goes... I think he goes behind Doctor Strange here. I think I do like Doctor Strange a little bit more. So the way that Miles works, I like the character a lot. It's just that his hero kit, I am not the biggest fan of, like at least in Marvel Champions, right? So the way that Miles works is that I think that he's fun to play. He can flip with his double life, which is very thematic to Spider-Man's. He has his Venom Blast, his Spider Camouflage, right, which can confuse a villain, give him a tough stats card, and then the Venom Blast can do 2 damage and also stun an enemy, which I think is tons of fun. The only thing with him is that his hero cards and his identity specific cards are just so good, so cheap, and so cost efficient. When I put aspect cards in his deck, I just never want to play those aspect cards. I feel myself always wanting to just lean into his events, and I think he would do great with 25 blank cards because of that, but when I'm playing a hero, I want to actually build out their deck and have some good synergies with them, and I feel like Miles, I can never figure out a way to have him do that. So because of that, he's not a favorite hero, but he does go in the B tier, so I enjoy playing him a lot, and I'm always excited to get him down on the table. All right, next we have Nova. Okay, Nova is another hero that I have not played yet. Nova, I am dreading playing him as well. He's probably going to go... I think I like him more than Drax for sure. He's going to be around here. I'm putting him behind Thor. And once again, this is not a power tier rank or anything or anything like that. I think that Nova can be super duper strong, but he's just very event heavy, right? You have to play a ton of events. He's getting those readies with his Unleashed Nova Force and then like going through everything again. And to me, it's always risky and dangerous getting the villain's board set up, right? That's kind of what Nova wants. Nova wants the villain to have like a huge ramp turn where there's a bunch of side schemes, a bunch of minions, and then he can knock them all out with his Unleashed Nova Force. Because after he defeats a side scheme or a minion with the or a side scheme or an enemy, I mean, then he can get that ready up with the Unleashed Nova Force. I think you can draw a card too, right? So I mean, that's a really cool, fun way to play. I think that he's definitely worth it, but I personally don't enjoy playing that way. I don't want to let the villain like get really built up, and then just ignore some stuff so that I can have a huge turn. I'd rather just deal with whatever the villain's doing and try to like mitigate the board as soon as possible. So because of that, he's not here that I'm particularly looking forward to playing. But I think that he can be a lot of fun. I know that he's a lot of people's favorites. Or next, we have Ironheart. Ironheart is awesome. I'm gonna put her at least in a B tier. And then where, or should I put it even in the A tier? She's not an A tier here for me. I'm gonna put her in a B tier. I think she's very fun to play. She goes around here. I think I like Rocket more. It's probably just because of the character though. Because I do like Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, I'm gonna put Ironheart here in between Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord. So Ironheart, my favorite thing about her is that she has her thing right here, the maximum efficiency. As a hero action, you can remove one progress counter from her and then do 2 damage to enemy. There is no once per turn or any effect like that. So if you get like 20 progress counters on her, you can just remove them all and that'll be 4 damage, right? So if you can build her enough, you can have her like literally gun down like both stages of a villain, or like do like 100+ damage just by slowly setting up your board. And I like that she's similar to Iron Man, and that whenever you're building her up, she's a little bit slow early game, and her handsets in hero form is not that good. She starts off with the handsets of 4 in hero form, but whenever you're on version 3, she has a handsets of 6, which is really, really good, right? So similar to Iron Man, he goes from 1 to 7. But I like Iron Man more because I feel like he's just more simple, and he's kind of like the first version of that type of build, which I always like the simplicity of it. Once again, it's probably a heavy bias to Tony Stark as a character. Shout outs to you guys that have seen the Doctor Doom review that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom. I'm super excited for that. Sorry, that's kind of a tangent there, but yeah, I mean, Iron Man, I loved all the movies. I think he's an awesome character. He's one of my favorite characters I always picked as to play as, when I was like 10 playing like Capcom versus Marvel. I just really like his design too, like the way that he looks and everything with his suit. So yeah, I mean, Iron Man, yeah, a lot of bias going in this list, guys. This is not an objective list by any means, as you guys can see. But Ironheart's kit is very fun to play. I don't mind playing her at all. She needs a little bit of babying, like not that much. I don't know why the air quotes there, but because you want to really get her up to version 3 as soon as possible. But once she's there, and she gets there very easily and very quickly, she is a force to be reckoned with. So she's very fun to play. Well, next up, Spider-Ham. Ooh, okay, Spider-Ham. Where am I put him? Definitely no lower than B tier. I think he's A tier. Is he A tier? No, I'm gonna put him around here. I think I like him more than Hulk. Okay, so the way that Spider-Ham works, and I might put him a little bit higher or lower, he's definitely around this area for me. So Spider-Ham, he's lots of fun to play. I enjoy playing him a lot. I think that my only reservation about him is that, similar to how a lot of people don't like playing Doctor Strange because they say he's too powerful, I say that Spider-Ham is too powerful. And I don't think he trivializes the game, but he just feels like he can never die, and when he takes damage, he gains 2 encounters, right? So what Spider-Ham works at is that every single time you take a damage in hero form, you gain a 2 counter, which you can then spend as a hero resource to generate a wild resource. And there's no limit to that, just like Ironheart has no limit to her ability either. So if you get like 20 toon counters, like you can play like your entire hand. If you have your whole deck in your hand, you can probably play like a big portion of that. And he just feels like, man, I can just take hits, never die. I can just have the calm to play whatever I want, right? And that's my thing with Strange too, why I don't think he's like the strongest hero in the game. Strange does not feel like he can take those hits. He has to get a tough status card. He needs allies to defend. He doesn't feel like he can just take hits and then just live and then just get resources, right? Spider-Ham feels like that. So that's why he's not going to be an S tier here for me. But I do really enjoy that. I just feel like it's like a little. I love playing strong heroes, but I think that because he's so strong defensively, and that I don't really have to maneuver around getting him to survive, right? It's not like I have to flip down to Alter Ego and then do like some big healing and then like struggle with anything, right? Because he has confuses too with his swing web pigs, so he can easily flip down and heal if he needs to. He has his cartoon physics where every single time you would take damage, you just prevent all of it except for one. So you take one damage instead of taking like 20 damage from like an enemy attack if Ronin's hitting you for 20, right? You can just do one instead. And it's an upgrade. It just stays on the table, right? He just feels so strong. And normally I would not put a hero down for their power, but it's just because it's in the way of that. I feel like he can't die. That's my only thing with that. If I felt more urgency that he would die, even though he's strong, I would probably still put him higher. I think I would put him in A tier. No, I'm putting him in B tier. I think that he's just, yeah, so he's not a hero that I am super duper like itching to get down, but I'm always happy to play by him. He's a very fun hero to play though. And next we have Colossus and Shadowcat. Okay, so these are the two heroes that came in Mutant Genesis, and I have not played these two guys before. And once again, it's a similar trend to a lot of these heroes that I have not played, is because I kind of dread playing them. In particular, Colossus. Man, Colossus, I'm gonna put him in D tier. I'd rather play Gamora first than Colossus. Okay, so Colossus, man, he has a hand size of 4 in hero form, which you guys know that I'm not the biggest fan of. I know I have Hulk up here, but that's just because I'm super biased for Hulk, and I like my suit down build for him with the Moon Girl recursion. Colossus is not a genius in Alter Ego, so he doesn't have that that bias that Hulk can have. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that he gets 2 tough cards, and then he revolves around tough stats cards, and tough stats cards are kind of like his economy. I don't like that because the enemy has piercing. You remove both tough stats cards whenever they pierce you. So I feel like if you just remove one tough stats card and you keep the other one, that would be really nice. But the fact that if one piercing takes off both his toughs, that kind of hurts. Yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of him because of his economy. He looks clunky to me. But when I actually play him, I may like him a lot more. So if that happens, I will definitely put him higher. But for right now, he's going to be in the D tier for me. All right, next we have Shadowcat. Shadowcat's a hero that a lot of people love. I am also dreading playing her a little bit, so I'm gonna put her. I think she's similar to Ghostbar in the way that I view her. I'll put her above War Machine. So Shadowcat, from the builds that I've seen, I feel like she's very good in either aggression or protection, which is similar to Ghost Spider. And her kit feels very streamlined. It feels like you kind of want to do the same thing with her, similar to Ghost Spider, right? You want to be in her like phase form whenever the villain attacks. You want to trigger stuff whenever you're flipping forms and stuff with her form changes from a phase to solid, right? She has multiple forms because in her hero form she has her phase and solid, and she also has the alter ego on top of that, right? So you want to do some stuff with that. But similar to Vision and to Spectrum, I'm not as much. I'm not that big of a fan of having like an extra form on your hero side compared to just having 3 straight up forms like Ant-Man and Wasp that can open up their card, because I think the opening up card thing is a lot more fun. But yeah, I mean, Shadowcat, I mean, she looks fine. I don't think that I'm gonna hate her. I think I'll probably enjoy her more than C tier, but as of right now, since I haven't played her, I do not particularly I'm not particularly excited in playing her. But yeah, that's kind of where she lands for me. Next we have SPDR, and I only recently played her for the first time, but SPDR I like a lot. Is she an A tier or like a very high B for me? She, I think she goes in A tier for me, and she's gonna go above these guys because I haven't played them yet, but behind Captain Marvel here. SPDR is really fun. She's one of my favorite Web Wars, if not my favorite one. I'm not sure we went through all of them yet, but I like SPDR, the Spider suit, a lot. Penny Parker, I like how she has a 4 card hand size in Alter Ego and a 3 card hand size in hero form. But the way that her kit is designed, it's super fun because if you get all your interface upgrades online, she can exhaust them to generate the resource that's on that card. So she actually feels super duper rich late game, even though she struggles early game. But it's always a fun. There's a lot of fun decisions when you're playing her, because it's like, when do I flip, when I sit in hero form, when do I get my upgrades down, and when do I have to like actually like play allies or events to like deal with the board and try to survive. And that's always a fun thing to me to try to build that out. So she's similar to Iron Man to me, but I don't think she's as fun as Iron Man because it's a little bit more complicated and I like the simplicity that Iron Man presents. So she doesn't go here in the A tier for me. Our next we have Cyclops, and it has been a while since we had another S tier here after Spider-Man, and Cyclops, I mean, he goes in S tier. I'm not even gonna front. Cyclops is one of my favorite heroes in the game. I love playing Cyclops. I think that he's an awesome hero in Marvel as well. He's tied for my favorite X-Men. I don't know. It just depends if you consider Magneto an X-Men. If you do, then Cyclops is tied with Magneto. If Magneto is not considered an X-Men, then Cyclops is my favorite X-Men. He's really cool. I love his kits. I love that you can include X-Men allies from every single aspect whenever you're playing Cyclops. I think that that is super duper thematic. And I love that the way they built his kit, he is not like a bruiser, right? Like he has a strong ability like his concussive blast, his optic blast, right? But his kit does not revolve around that. And that's very similar to the Cyclops character, where you're not just going around like blasting everything. You are a tactician and you are a leader, and that's the way the Cyclops feels in the way that he plays. That's the first and foremost thing that comes to mind whenever you're playing him, is that you have to plan very, very well. You have to be tactical in the way that you're proceeding with the scenario. And then whenever you have the damage, then you can do your optic blast, but only in a controlled environment, because you have to attach a tactic upgrade to an enemy that you're going to use your optic blast on, right? So I just love all the synergies there. I love how thematic he feels. Similar to Spider-Man, I think that Cyclops is one of the most thematic heroes in the game. He is very, very fun. I love using all those X-Men allies and X-Men supports with Cyclops. So he's going to go up there in the S tier for me. All right, next we have Phoenix. Phoenix I've only played recently, but she is definitely B tier or higher. I'm actually going to put her first here in the B tier. And I think that she is a lot of fun to play. So my only thing with her is I'm very scared of Dark Phoenix coming out. So I don't know if I've had Dark Phoenix come out before since playing her. But that would be my only reservation, is because when I'm playing, I want to feel free, like, oh, okay, if my Nemesis comes out, like, everything's fine. I don't have, like, a huge thing to deal with if my Nemesis comes out. But Phoenix feels like the opposite to that, to where it's like, if I get my Nemesis, will I lose a game? Will this be, like, the big flip from me, like, winning to losing? And I just don't like having that over my head. I don't like the fear of the creeping Dark Phoenix coming up. So because of that, she doesn't go in the A tier for me, but everything else about her kit is super duper fun. I think that she's super duper powerful. I love that she comes in with a Thor stat of 3, and I love that if you go Unleash, she'll have 3 attack instead, and all of her, most of her events, they have a better effect if you're Unleashed. And I think that's really cool that they designed her that way, to have her be stronger in the Unleashed form. I kind of wish that her Unleash was kind of like a third card or something like that you can put on top of your hero card or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I think Phoenix is tons of fun. She is very, very powerful, has a lot of different unique things in her kit, and she does not feel very streamlined at all. You could stay in your restrained form the entire game and still win and do well with her, or you can wait for like a good time to unleash, right? And that just presents so much versatility and like fun decision making opportunities. So I really enjoy playing Phoenix. All right, next we have Wolverine, and he is the best at what he does. He is going to go into B tier for me. He's very similar to Captain America, actually, in the way that I view him. So I'm going to put him right next to Cap. And I think I'm putting behind Miles here. So Wolverine, I like that he has his claws. I like the healing factor a lot, which is his hero ability. So every single turn when the player phase begins, you can gain 2 health, which is amazing. It feels very thematic to Wolverine that he can take so much damage and then heal back up. His kit, his economy feels very bad to me. I don't think that he has any source of resource generation, and his only like resource card is going to be like the claws that you can exhaust to pay an attack event for free, but you have to take damage equal to the cost of that attack event. I don't like that as much because early game it's not going to be as useful because it won't help you get down your key upgrades and supports. It's going to really just help you, clear off minions or do damage, right? Which is not necessarily what I want to do early game. I think that for Rush, Wolverine could be really good, and he's a lot of fun attacking. He's definitely a B tier hero for me in terms of that. I enjoy playing him, but he's not like one of my favorite heroes in the game for that reason. And I always forget to trigger the healing factor, right? So when a player phase begins, you have to heal 2 damage. If you remember, if you don't remember, then you kind of miss that timing window, and I forget a lot. So that's my only thing, or that's another thing with him, is that I just forget to trigger his thing. But other than that, I do like Wolverine a lot, and he's a very, very cool hero. All right, next we have Storm. Storm, I've also only played recently. I'm going to put her also in a B tier. I like her a lot. Let's see, where does Storm go? I think I like Wolverine and Cap more. I like Scarlet Witch more. I think I like Storm more than Spectrum, though. Actually, I like her more in Scarlet Witch too, actually. I'm gonna put her here. I think that she has a very, very fun kit. I love her interactions with the environments, right? So she can put on like Hurricane, she can put on like Thunderstorm, and all her environments will change the entire field. So every single character, including the villain and like the minions, will get +1 attack if you have Thunderstorm in play, which feels very tactical because you don't want to leave that in play if you're going to be taking a lot of damage, and you don't want to be, giving the villain and retaliate if you're going to be attacking them during the player phase, right? So you want to plan out how you do your turns, and she's very fun in multiplayer because you can affect the board for the rest of the other players. And I love playing with Storm characters, right? If someone else is playing Storm, I'm always on board with that because she's very fun to play around because she can help buff you up. So yeah, Storm is a very fun character to me. Yeah, but I mean, she doesn't have anything in particular that I really, really, really like. I think that's the only thing that's holding her back. But B tier, I mean, it's still a tier that I really enjoy. So a lot of these heroes here, I am very happy to get down whenever I can. All right, next we have Gambit. Oh man, Gambit. There's a time where I really like Gambit, and that time is definitely whenever in the X-Men 97 show. I'm not gonna spoil anything from the show, but basically Gambit has like a really cool moment in that show, and I played a lot of Gambit around that time because that's whenever he really peaked for me. But the more that I played him, the more that I found his kit just so clunky. I feel like he's kind of like Captain America in the way that he has cards to do everything, but it's just way more clunky than Captain America because Captain America is not very clunky. He can kind of just run very smoothly. So Gambit, he's gonna go either he's gonna go near the bottom of B tier here for me, and I'm not sure if I should actually just put these B tier guys in the C tier because the more that I look at it, I'm not excited to play these heroes here. So I'm gonna actually do a huge change. I'm gonna put everyone down to the C tier. And once again, a lot of these heroes right here, like Venom and Vision, I have not played, so I may buff them up or like move them up to like the B tier or A tier. But yeah, I'm not, yeah, because the C tier is reserved for heroes that I'm not excited to get down, that I'm dreading a little bit to play. And these heroes right here are all heroes that I'm not like, oh, I really want to put them down on the table. So, and Gambit belongs there for me as well, just because I feel like he has so much things going on, right? He can do alter ego, he can do a defense, he has like really strong attacks, but it's just like either way that I build him, I feel that it's never like very clear in the direction that I want to go. And I personally like to play him in leadership because leadership kind of helps him in that well-roundedness. But I want to play him in like aggression or like protection or like do something more fun with him. But I always feel like those type of builds are a little bit more clunky than I will like because he has the other stuff, right? Like if you're playing him in protection, he has his alter ego actions like his Creole Charmer, and like you won't be able to do that unless you flip down to alter ego, which if you're playing protection, you generally don't want to flip down to alter ego, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with Gambit. Next we have Rogue, and she's another hero that I've only played recently. I do like her, but I don't know if I like her enough to not dread playing her. Um, let's see. Should I move Ghost Spider up now that I'm looking at it? Yeah, I'm gonna, sorry guys, let me do a quick change. I'm gonna move Ghost Spider up here because I think that I don't mind, because I'm comfortable with playing Ghost Spider at least, and a lot of these other heroes here I'm not as comfortable with because I'm not as familiar with their kits as I am with Ghost Spider. So just because of that familiarity and the bias that, she is Gwen Stacy Ghost Spider, I'm gonna put her a little bit higher. I'm gonna put her above Gambit here actually as well. Rogue is fun. I just feel like that her resource management is terrible, and I just feel like I can't do too many things as I'm playing Rogue. So because of that, she's gonna go in the C tier as well. She's not a hero that I enjoy playing that much. I'm put her behind Gambit here. I think she can be fun against the right villain and with the right deck, but a lot of times she feels very clunky to me just because she doesn't have the economy to do whatever I want to do with her. All right, next we have Cable. Okay, Cable is another S tier here for me. I'm gonna put Cable all the way up here, and yeah, Cable I like a lot. I think Cable is one of the strongest heroes in the game. I don't know if people talk about it that often. I feel like he is underrated, even though that a lot of people say he's really good. I think that's still underrated. I think Cable is amazing. He's so much fun. I love side scheme shenanigans. I love that you can put chance encounter on side schemes and tutor allies to your hand. I love playing him with the Peter Parker Spider-Man Justice ally because you can just play him so easily because Cable has such great economy with the Grey Malkin readying up so many times per turn. Every single time a side scheme is defeated, Cable's resource generator, the Grey Malkin, can ready up. Cable can ready up once per turn whenever he defeats a side scheme. He just has so many cool things going on with side schemes. I like playing this character a lot. He's an S tier here for me. He's one of my favorite heroes to get down on the table. Next we have Domino. Domino, she goes in C tier for me. I know a lot of people love Domino. She's gonna go. I'm gonna put her at the bottom of C tier. I don't. She's not gonna go in the I never want to play this hero again. But I really dread playing her because she's just so complex. She is, and my problem with her is that I feel like that she's needlessly complex, right? I feel like that when you want to solve a problem with Domino, there are it could just be like a simple thing that you want to do, but I'm so confused by it. I'm like, should I do this, this, and this? And after I do that, should I do this, this, or this? Like, there's just so many things going on, and I'm just so confused when I'm playing her. I feel like it takes so much work, and I have such long player turns where I'm just like sitting there with my cards going like, I don't know what to do. And yeah, so it's definitely just a me issue and a personal bias issue, but because of that, she's personally not my favorite hero to play, but I could definitely see her appeal. I think that it's very fun using her luck mechanic and really controlling the luck by knowing what the top card of your deck is by using her different ways to put a card on top of your deck or to peek at it, right? So I can definitely see her appeal. It's just for me, I feel like that she's needlessly complex, which takes away a little bit from me. All right, next we have Psylocke. Oh, Psylocke I like a lot. I'm gonna put her really high up. Um, is she B tier or even A tier here? Psylocke. Okay, so the way that Psylocke works is that she has these Psychotana upgrades, and she only has a hand size of 4 in hero form, but a hand size of 6 in Alter Ego. But her two, Psy upgrades, they can exhaust to generate a resource, and you get that on turn 1. So on turn 1, you have a hand size of 6 because you start the turn in Alter Ego, and then you have 2 resource generators on the table ready to use already, which is incredible. So I really like that with her, and I like flipping down to Alter Ego with her, and she has so many ways to confuse the villain. She is a very like confusing hero, right? And because of that, I mean, she can easily just confuse lock the villain and flip down every single turn and stay down and get that massive economy by having that extra hand size, right? So she's tons of fun to play. I'm gonna put her in A tier here. I'm gonna put her behind SPDR, the Spider Suit, but Psylocke is one of my favorite heroes in the game. All right, next we have Angel. Okay, Angel. I think Angel is the last hero of the bunch here that I have not played, and I've been meaning to get him out. I think Angel. So he has a triple form similar to Ant-Man and Wasp, right? So he has his alter ego, Warring Worthington, and then he has his Angel side, and he has the Archangel, which is like whenever Apocalypse exerts his influence on Angel, it's kind of like the Archangel, right? Angel goes in the C tier for me, and once again, that's gonna be a little bit of a bias thing here. I'm gonna put him definitely behind these guys. I'm gonna put him, I think, just behind War Machine. So my thing with Angel is that I don't understand the max of it. And if you guys understand, please, let me know down in the comments, because that might shed some clarity for me. But for like Wasp and Ant-Man, right? Like it makes sense that they have 3 versions because Wasp, after she goes to giant form, she can still go back to alter ego. She can still go to tiny form and like, revert through all of her forms, right? Angel, from what I know from like, Marvel lore, is that whenever Apocalypse exerts his influence over him, he stays in Archangel form. He can't go back to regular Angel with like these wings right here, right? Like the feather wings, right? He's gonna have the metal wings of being Archangel. And I don't think that he can ever go back to this unless like there's some other like huge external thing that allows him to go back, right? But when we're playing him Marvel Champions, he can easily just flip from Archangel back to Angel, back to Archangel like next turn. So it's like I just don't understand how that works thematically. And I think that takes a lot away from the character in the game Marvel Champions, and that's probably why I'm kind of dreading playing him. And then a lot of his stuff revolves around having aerial cards and using like aerial events, right? He has a lot of aerial synergy, and I think that that's a lot of fun. But my only problem with aerial synergy is that I feel that a lot of the cards came in the Angel pack, so it just kind of feels like that these aspect cards were like just made for him, versus like they're made for like a lot of heroes, and then like it can be a lot of fun if I'm like putting them and mixing and matching. It just doesn't feel as innovative to me building an Angel deck. So that's kind of why I'm kind of putting him off here. Yeah, it's just kind of like the thematics of, his Angel wings. Like, is he Archangel or is he Angel? And how does he flip back and forth? And I'm just not the biggest fan of his kit. I don't feel like there's anything super amazing that stands out to me with that. All right, next we have X-23. And I think X-23 is really cool. She goes in a B tier for me. She's not one of my favorite heroes to play in the game, but she's a hero that I enjoy a lot. I'm going to put her around here. I think definitely more than like Nebula. Star-Lord level. I think X-23 is... I think I like her more than Star-Lord. She's a very, very fun hero to play. I like how she has so many readies. I don't like that she doesn't have like attack and authority events, but I understand that's like the way they wanted to design her kit to give her like a bunch of readying, and then she can swing for a lot, and that's always fun whenever you ready her like 5+ times with Honey Badger and have her attack for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. It feels crazy. That's a lot of fun. I just kind of wish that she wasn't so leaning into her basic activations, right? Similar to Ghost Spider. I feel like that Ghost Spider gets stifled if you have to if you get exhausted, right? And I feel like X23 to an extent also needs to be readied, but she has so many easier ways to ready than Ghost Spider, because with her living weapons response here on her hero ability, after you take any amount of damage, you can ready her once per phase. So she is probably going to be able to get her ready. It's just that I don't like that her kit revolves around only readying. I wish that was kind of more like half reading and then like half other stuff, but it feels like that she has to do all the reading stuff. So because of that, I just feel like there's less decision-making opportunities, but still a very, very fun hero for me to play. All right, next we have Deadpool. All right, let me go ahead and just move Deadpool up. So, oh man, Deadpool. Okay, so the first thing I will say is that Deadpool kind of replaced Star-Lord for me. I feel that these two guys are very, very similar in a way that they're high risk, high reward, and that whenever I'm playing them early game, it's very dangerous. And then as I play them more, like late game, there's that payout of like having to do like crazy amounts of damage, like 50, 70 plus damage, or whatever, right? And then that's really fun to do. Deadpool used to be my second favorite hero all the time, right? He used to be like right beneath Spider-Man, but he's dropped out of the S tier for me. I'm gonna put him in the A tier still. I still think he's a lot of fun to play, but I'm gonna put him right here. But very similar to Star-Lord, I feel like that Deadpool early game, I feel like that I'm not really doing too much. I feel like that I'm kind of a nuisance to the group, and my group hates it when I play Deadpool. They're always like, oh man, you're playing Deadpool again. So that might have had like a little impact on me as well. Like, oh man, people don't like when I play Deadpool. Maybe I shouldn't play him, right? But in solo, he's still very fun. It's just that the exact same thing. Like, I feel like I'm just trying to live early game and then have that final big burst turn, which is the way that I like to play a lot. That's one of my favorite ways to play the game. You guys know that. He just wants to build out the board and then gather enough damage to play the symbiote suit and then do a bunch of damage, right? So as I played him more, I kind of changed my opinion on him, but I still really like playing him a lot. He's still one of my favorite heroes, so he goes in A tier here for me. Definitely still a top hero in my opinion. He's just dropped off a little bit for me because I feel like that there's not as much unique ways to play him, even though I do feel like that building out is a lot of fun. And I think that he's actually really, really fun in multiplayer as well. I recently did a two-handed game with a Deadpool and Wolverine because I was really hyped for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and that was a lot of fun. That game with Deadpool probably like bumps him up a little bit, but I gotta remember that sometimes he's not the most fun, so I'm gonna put him just right here. All right, next we have Bishop. Oh man, Bishop I like a lot. Let me move him up. He is for sure B tier, maybe higher. I think, man, Bishop. I'm going to put Bishop in the A tier here right after Iron Man. And I mean, I think he's really cool. I like his resources. So Bishop's one of the heroes that I thought that I would not like the most. I had like no hype for Bishop at all. But then whenever I actually played him, he was like one of the most fun heroes that I've ever played. And I really enjoyed him from the box. And he's definitely the best thing to come from the Age of Apocalypse expansion, in my opinion. I think he's super duper fun to play. I love that he can take so much damage, and that he can like get resource cards and heal with the resources with his uniform. I love his rifle, being able to ping off tusks, being able to do tons of damage if you're stuck with the hand with all resources. And it just feels nice whenever you have 5 resource cards in your hand, but you're like, this is good for me. Like, this is good. I can still do a lot of stuff. Like, that's always fun to do. So I love Bishop a lot. Bishop is tons of fun for me. He's going to go in the A tier for sure. All right, next we have, okay, so we have, I also put Nightcrawler and Magneto here. So these guys have not released yet at the time of making this video, but I do want to kind of just give my thoughts on what I think about them and where I think that they would land for me in terms of like how much I think I would like their kits. So for Nightcrawler here, I think he's going to be a solid B tier for me. I'm putting him really high up. I'm going to put him just behind Hulk here. His kit looks super fun, and I like that he has alter ego synergy and hero synergy, so he can probably flip a lot and has a lot of versatility throughout both forms. You can play him in protection and have him defend a lot, right? Because he can defend without exhausting too, which is like huge. So I think that he's a very, very cool hero, and he's a really cool stat line. I really like the 2-1-3. This is very unique, and I think that he's the only hero in the game that has that 2-1-3 stat line. So I think I'm going to enjoy playing him a lot. All of his cards have not been reviewed yet, so I can't really say too much on it, but I'm really liking the way that he looks. All right, next we have Magic here. So Magic also came in the Age of Apocalypse. She's gonna go actually in the C tier for me. The more that I think about it, the more down that I am on Magic, and I think she's gonna go below these heroes here. She's gonna go right above Domino, I think. And for me, she's very similar to Domino in that they are both so complex, and I feel that at times she's needlessly complex. And like I'm like trying to look at the top card of my deck with her effect, but I'm like I don't really need to. Like I can just do whatever I need to do and like deal with the problem that's on the board. But then I'm still trying to like be like, okay, should I switch this card with like this card with Limbo? Like what should I do? And I'm always confused about what to do. And yeah, it just feels like she adds so much needless complexity to the way she plays. So I'm not the biggest fan of it, and I'm not a fan of checking like all the time of like the top card in my deck and checking like what resource it is and everything like that. So yeah, I think that she's very cool, and I respect everyone that loves playing her. I think that she's just a little bit out of my comfort range to something that I really enjoy playing. Okay, let's do these two guys first before we do Magneto because he is the last unreleased one. So Iceman here, man, Iceman's a weird one because Iceman is one of the few heroes that I thought I would enjoy like so much. I thought that I would have him like for sure in A tier in terms of fun, but as I played him more and more, he's still fun, but he's dropped down for me considerably. I just have a really good impression of Iceman in my mind, but I feel like when I actually play him, he's not as fun as I would like. I'm gonna put him above Nebula here. So I think that Iceman is a really cool hero. I really like his mechanic. Once again, similar to Ghost Spider and to X-23, I feel that he's very reliant on readying. And because of that, I feel that he's very reliant on Utopia, which is like the best readying card to give to X-Men characters. So I feel like that Iceman is kind of like fixated in how he wants to build. Like you can play him in Justice, you can play him in Protection, in Aggression, like whatever, right? But either way, you almost always want to include Utopia. I think Utopia is an all-include for Iceman because he needs that readying to really like get his frostbites off, right? He wants to use those basic activations, the basic attacks or basic defenses. And I feel like that whenever he thwarts is a little bit clunky because he can't get freeze off whenever he thwarts, which makes sense because freeze only triggers whenever you're touching an enemy, right? So when you attack or defend with your basic activation. But it just feels a little weird. To me. I like the frostbite mechanic a lot, and I like flipping down with that to give the villain -1 skin and -1 attack. But at the end of the day, he just feels a little bit more clunky than I would like, and I feel like when I'm deck building with him, I feel like that I have to deck build a certain way with all the X-Men tribal stuff, which I want a little bit more freedom in my deck building, but if I build him outside of that, I feel like that it's not anywhere close to the power and funness of including Utopia and like the X-Gen and all that stuff. So for that reason, he's not my favorite character, but I still enjoy playing him a lot, which is why he's in the B tier. Alright, and then we have two more heroes here. Let's do Jubilee first, because she has been released. Jubilee, man, you guys might have seen her already. I've talked about her a lot. She is an S tier here for me. I love Jubilee. Jubilee is super duper fun. She to me is kind of like a mini Cable, and that's kind of how the deck that I built for her runs, right? So I made a Rush Hour deck with Jubilee and Nick Fury as the ultimate Rush Hour duo, and basically it revolves around Chance Encounter attaching to side schemes and defeating the side scheme so that Chance Encounter can trigger, so that you can get Nick Fury and recur him to your hand over and over again and play him down over and over again to get that card draw and that strong ally in play for multiple turns in a row, right? I love that strategy a lot. She has one of the most unique cards in the game with her Shopping Spree side scheme, which is the only player side scheme in the game that does not have the victory keyword. So when the side scheme is defeated, it goes into your discard pile and is not removed from the game, unlike every other player's side scheme. So that means that you can clear multiple turns per game. And I've never had so much fun playing Mutant Education and Exclamation than I did whenever I played Jubilee, right? She makes these two cards so good and so fun because she's constantly in Alter Ego, and you're constantly getting the Shocking Suicide Scheme back into your deck with Mutant Education, because that's what it does. You can look through your discard pile for two identity-specific cards and shuffle them back into your deck, right? So that's so much fun with Jubilee. I love flipping down to heal her identity-specific Wolverine ally, which goes back to like full health because he heals 3 every single time Jubilee flips down. He can swing for 3 with Piercing. She's not on the level of Cable for me, just because I feel like Cable is so much more powerful and has so much more versatility. And I feel like for Jubilee, she doesn't have to lean towards side schemes, which is really nice, right? Because Cable, you have to play with side schemes. Jubilee, if you don't have any side scheme in your deck and you don't ever play Shopping Spree side scheme, you're still gonna like do fine. But I really like leaning onto the side schemes. But Jubilee doesn't have as much versatility and triggers with those side schemes as Cable does. but you can manufacture her own triggers with cards like Skilled Investigator or Chance Encounter, which will trigger each time a side scheme is defeated, right? So I like that I can kind of manufacture it, but I like playing her through that side scheme way, which is kind of why I like Cable more, because he does better with the side schemes, but I like her a lot as a mini Cable. So she is definitely a top 5 hero in the game for me. All right, and then lastly here, we have Magneto. So man, you guys know me. If you guys have gotten this far in the video, you guys know I am biased. I love Magneto. He is one of my favorite characters in all of the Marvel Universe. He's one of my favorite villains. He's one of my favorite heroes. Magneto is awesome. We haven't seen that many cards in his hero kit. Most of his cards look pretty bland right now, but I'm going to go ahead and put him in S tier because I believe in Fantasy Flight Games. I believe that they're going to make Magneto awesome, super fun to play. I love that he has the magnetic pull, which you can discard cards on top of your deck until a magnetic card is discarded and add that card to your hand, limit once per round. It really feels like he is getting magnetic stuff, using his Master of Magnetism to his advantage. So he's going to go in S tier for me. I have very high expectations. I believe that I will really enjoy playing Magneto, and I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not, but we'll see where that goes. We haven't really seen too much on his kit for me to say anything more, but I think I'm really going to enjoy him. If not his actual design, just my heavy bias for Magneto. So yeah, there you guys have it. This is my full hero tier list for my favorite heroes in Marvel Champions, which heroes I like playing the most. And for the S tier here, I only have 5 heroes. I thought I would have more in the S tier. It's Spider-Man, Cyclops, Cable, Jubilee. That looks pretty right to me. And then Magneto's there. And Iron Man, I mean, he used to be up here, but I think he kind of still is, right? He's still pretty much top 5 right now because Magneto's not even in the game yet. And if I don't like Magneto, then Iron Man will be top 5. So actually, he's actually still there. So yeah, a lot of these heroes here I really enjoy a lot. Anything in the B tier or higher, I love playing. C tier, I dread a little bit, and then D tier are just a few heroes that I'm not the biggest fan of. But I haven't played Colossus or Gamora, so when I actually play them, I may like them a lot more than what it seems like right now. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this list here. Thank you guys again so much, for being with me for 1 whole year. That is still crazy to me. This has been like, one of the most rewarding experiences in my entire life. Let me know what you guys think about all these heroes here. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. And, once again, guys, this is a super subjective list. I am super biased, as you guys have seen. Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next one.